Why hello there, it's that time of the week again where I present to you This Week in Astro, a weekly recap of the goings on inside the Astroverse. Now, because it's autumn, the weeks are coming in faster, that's for sure, and we now finish the week on the 16th of October, and we start our weekly episodes with a wee look over the Astro.build website, and we take it. Our showcase is a great place for you to get inspired about your next Astro project. I've always said this, if you're new to Astro and want to get a feel for the project and what you can do with it, take a look over the Astro showcase. There's some great projects here, some wonderful work for you to look at. Over 135 projects listed here as well. Absolutely amazing. Now, Astro Userland is something that is continuously growing and expanding. We have hundreds of integrations, along with some of our own official ones can be found here on our integrations page. Now, if you're ever stuck or short, there's probably an integration already made by some genius astronaut. By all means, go check it out, guys. Now, if you want to get your own theme added to the Astro themes page, or if you have an integration that you want added, or even want to showcase your own website on the Astro.build showcase page, then all you need to do is just submit an issue on the actual Astro.build repo, and we'll get that up there for you. And while you're there, do take a look over the actual Astro repo as well. This is a great way for you to keep up to date with all the important work that is going on in and around the actual project and its many repositories. And if you want to get in touch with a wonderful community of astronauts, you can do so by going to astro.build/chat. And as always, guys, we look forward to seeing you there. Now, into the news from the past week in and around the community. And it is a bit short, it's a bit sparse, simply and only for the lack of available content. More to explain on that in a wee second. But we didn't have a community call this week. That was the first thing. It was conference season, and as a result, our most recent community call that was taken on the 4th of October is up on our Astro YouTube channel, guys, right? And while you're there on the Astro YouTube channel, while you're here watching this video, by all means do like and subscribe to the actual channel. It helps grow the channel and it also helps us. And now our community call is back on this Tuesday, the 18th, 7 PM GMT, and it is great to see the amount of folk that do come along week in, week out. And I would highly encourage you, as always, guys, pop in. Look forward to seeing you there, guys. Since there was no community call, right, just to give you a wee update on the roadmap for Q4. Astro is progressing really well, like the project is just moving phenomenally well. There's been a number of releases that we'll come to in a wee bit, but generally speaking, the community is improving. The docs is a work of art in itself. The core project is getting a lot tighter and the APIs are getting a lot better. Yeah, with the roadmap, we're well and truly on our way with hitting our goals for this quarter, so I'll look forward to sharing them with you in due course. Now, this past week was conference season in and around the communities. VeetConf, a big shout out to our partners over at Veet. Now, these guys had done a fantastic job. Their conference was by far a standout conference. It was one of those where it went for 12 hours back to back, and it's great to see the strength and depth of the Veet ecosystem. Now, Astro can leverage pretty much a lot of the actual Veet ecosystem presently, and we're looking to continue our relationship with Veet and make that even stronger in the future. Now, it wasn't just VeetConf, we've also had a couple of astronauts. Dan and Elan were representing Astro at React Brussels, and we were streaming this live in the Discord channel on Friday when this was going on, and it was great to see the people pop in and take part and watch the conference as it was unfolding. Now, as I said, we've had Elan and Dan do fantastic presentations, and as soon as these become available, guys, I will let you know about the videos, and by all means share them in a separate perhaps video for yourselves, right? More on this space as it comes, okay? Now we're flying in to take a pulse over the actual Astro repo itself. This week we've had 42 out of the 51 PRs that were merged, which was actually fantastic. 61 out of those 82 issues were also closed this week. This goal of keeping the bug count low is a core goal for the project for both Matt and Bjorn. They both have been doing an amazing job at this. Presently, at the time of recording, we've only had 66 issues open on the actual Astro repo, and honestly, that is amazing to see. Now, we've had a very exciting release this week, and it was packed with plenty of goodies for us to enjoy. So here are some, not all, but some of the amazing announcements that came out of this epic release of version 1.5. The first big announcement to share with you is that Astro adapters are now able to support the Astro preview command via the new integration option that has been put out. The Astro Node.js adapter is the first of the built-in adapters to gain support for this. What this means is that if you're using the Astro Node adapter, you'll be able to preview your SSR app by running the npm run preview command, as you can see here on the screen. Now, we will be updating the other first-party adapters to support the preview over time. Adapters can opt into this feature by providing the preview entry point via the set adapter function in the Astro.config done hook, as you can see on the screen here. The Node.js adapter code looks something like this. Now, the preview entry point is a module that the adapter package in the adapters package, which is in this particular case a Node.js script. This script will run when the Astro preview is ran. This script is ran when Astro preview is run and is charged with setting up the built server. Now, if you want to see more information, by all means, you could check out how the Node adapter is set up to see how this is implemented. Now, there has been some massive improvements to the Endpoint API as well. First question, what are Astro endpoints? Well, Astro lets you create custom endpoints to serve any kind of data. Now, in statically generated sites, your custom endpoints are called at build time to produce static files. So you can build like JSON files, TOML files, images. If you opt into the server mode, the custom endpoint turns into a live server endpoint, which is called on request. So static and server endpoints are very similar to each other, but the server endpoints support additional features. Now, endpoint functions receive a context object as the first parameter, and it mirrored some of the Astro global properties. Now, with this update, you can now access more of the Astro global properties from within the Astro API context itself. Stuff like the site, generator, URL, client address, props and redirect fields are available on the API context. Now, the API context is the first parameter, as I said, passed into the API route. Next up, we're going to take a wee look over a few of the examples in of this API in action. Here we're demonstrating the context params. This is an object containing values of dynamic route segments matched for this request. In static builds, this will be the params that are returned by the getStaticPass used for pre-rendering the dynamic routes. In SSR builds, this can be any value that's matching the pass segments in the dynamic route pattern. Now, this one is important to note. In this example, we were discussing the context.props. This is an object and it normally contains any props that's passed from the getStaticPass. Because getStaticPass is not used when you're in server-side rendering mode, context.props would return undefined in that respect. Okay, this is only available to you in static builds. Next up, this is an example where we're using the context.request object. Now, this is just a standard request object. It can be used to get the URL, the headers, the method, even the body of the request itself. And the last example we have for you is more of a working example, and this just demonstrates how you could return back the client address, which is the user's IP address, to selectively allow users to view content or pass back selected content to them. Now, you can check out all the updates to the endpoint context object by taking a look over the docs, for it has all the methods and their use cases presented there for you. By all means, do check it out, guys. Now, the next announcement that we have is AstroAd has been given TypeScript support by our very own TypeScript princess, Erica. And here we're just adding solid to our project. Notice how the relevant solid types are added to the tsconfig here, right? This is a massive improvement to the Astro wizard. I personally love this. This is fantastic. So yes, now you're not having to rely upon yourselves to do this. We'll take care of that for you, right? Which is fantastic. We got an update to the Astro.redirect API. Now we have this cool ability to pass through a status code to the Astro.redirect. By default, it uses the status code of 302, but now you can pass through other status codes as a second argument, like a 301 or a 303. Now, we got a new build config hook as well. Here, we're basically changing the way the build parameter is now defined. We are now making it a bit more granular, allowing you to define individually where you would like your outputs to be built to. So here we could define our server output if we were in server mode. Not only that, we could also define where we like our client files or static assets to be saved as well. We're also specifying our entry point for our server file. Now, this is also reflected within the integration update config API hook itself. Here you're just basically passing through the same object literal that we've seen before. As I said, this is to provide a bit more granular overrides for you to specify your outputs when you come to building your Astro project. Our next big announcement is huge. We now have better HMR support, that's hot module reloading support for both Tailwind and Tailwind config files and our Typescript config files. So when you go to make changes to these files, it would Astro magically restart the dev server for you, letting the changes take immediate effect. Now, off the back of this, we have been given a new API to use when we're developing integrations via the integrations API. And this is the add watch file. This was provided to us by Juan. Here, the add watch file API allows you to specify the path to the file for you to have watch specifically for changes made to them. Note that these have to be an absolute file path, okay? But this is fantastic, Juan. Thank you for that, buddy. Now, we're not done. Another huge announcement for React users or reactive astronauts in the community is that we also have added support for Material UI. So those who utilize Material UI components and their fantastic and wonderful component set that you can get from them, this now adds support for Material UI without any need for additional configurations to get this particular library to work, and it gives you a fantastic set of components to play with. Now, this next one is huge, right? We have the ability to utilize Preact signals now within Astro. This has turned a lot of heads when Jason Miller announced this a couple of weeks back. Now, this makes it possible to share client state between Preact islands via signals. For example, you could create a signal in an Astro component and then pass it to multiple islands, like you can see here, which is just amazing. Now, all of this and more, and bear in mind, guys, this was just some of the fantastic announcements that came out with the release of 1.5. There has been numerous bug fixes and performance improvements that's also went into this particular release as well. And if you want to check out more, by all means, head on over to our blog that we have on astro.build to take a read over the blog that Matthew put up surrounding the release. And now that was all in a single update. It was huge. 1.5 is going to be a memorable release for us astronauts. Now, there was a couple of contributors that managed to get their work into 1.5, okay? And we've already mentioned the first scene. Now, Juan, our main man, has been back on the horse this week, and he's made 3 amazing PRs that got merged into 1.5. Noticing the first one was where he was noticed a regression, basically applied a fix by upgrading the Astro compiler for us, right, which was amazing. The second was on what can be best described as his own integration for the work that he's done to this. The Astro Vercel adapter now supports monorepos correctly by adding files that are outside the project root, like when node modules is in the monorepo root. Personally, this is great. I know there has been a few users in the past who have faced some issues when deploying monorepos to Vercel using the Vercel adapter. And like I said, Juan literally owns this adapter. This is, you can consider it to be Juan's adapter, right? He does a lot of work on taking care of this one particular adapter for the community. So last but not least, and also fixing 2 bugs in the process, making it that the dev experience was just that tiny bit better. Now, we covered this in the release announcements when we were talking about the hot module reloading ability for Tailwind and the Typescript config files. This is a new API that you have provided, which was the add watch file API. All it does, like I said, allows you to register with the certain files that are needed to be watched and allow the dev server to be restarted for you. Out of the 3 PRs, this is by far my favourite one. Okay, so Juan, it's great seeing you back, my friend. Thank you very much for the hard work. And then we have Daniel. Now, Daniel came back. Now, this has been his 4th week, if I remember correctly, right, of successive PRs that have been merged to Astro. He is fast becoming a very strong contributor and a fantastic astronaut to the project. Here, he noticed a wee problem where there was multiple doc types that were being injected into a single file. Now, this occurred when it came to like HTML strings that were being sent down the wire. Daniel just came in and simply fixed it for us, which was fantastic. I much appreciate it, my friend. Thank you very much for your hard work that you're doing. You're truly awesome. Now, let's take a look over the pulse for the Astro docs themselves. Busy as always. This week, they managed to merge 36 PRs that were out of the 45 that were there, with a couple of new issues being open. Now, bear in mind, this is all part of the Hacktoberfest, and as a result, I have an update to share with you. Okay, if you want to get involved in the Hacktoberfest, bear in mind this is running up until the 31st of October. We're halfway through the month of October now, right? And if you've already got a PR in there, right, we will try and get that merged before the deadline. If not, you got till the 31st, but try and get it in as sooner the better, guys, so that way we have time to review it for you as well, okay? Now, just a wee overlook of what we're looking for this year for the Hacktoberfest is that we're looking for translations, right? We're looking for people to come in and help translate the actual Astro Docs project for us. Now, we have a fantastic guide set up to help direct people to put in the contributions in for us, right? If you go to the actual Astro Docs repo itself and check on the issues, you would see this table here, and all it really does is it just gives you an overview on the pages for languages that are written, needed to be updated, or yet to be written. And those ones that are missing, you can simply go here just by going into the language and just hitting the hyperlink to create a new page, and then you're away. Okay. And just to say, there has been 102 PRs already submitted this month. I mean, we're already, 16 days into the Hacktoberfest. 84 of them have already been closed, right? And there's still 28 of them still waiting reviews before being merged, okay? And this is amazing, guys, right? And seeing the PRs, what has been coming in for Hacktoberfest is just fantastic, okay? By all means, get in there, guys. Do help the docs team out. They sure have their work cut out for them this month. And as always, I'm making a major call to action here. We're looking to try and get as many of these PRs reviewed and merged as possible, right? You also want to do something else for the Hacktoberfest, right? By all means, check out other PRs, right, the same language that are needing reviewed. This would really help out the process a lot. Now, those who are submitting PRs are joining the growing fleet of international astronauts that we have aboard the space station here at Astro, right? And honestly, you guys are growing out to be a fantastic team and a true credit to what is open source. And just a wee summary of the work that still needs to be done on the docs project, right, in terms of translating the docs into Arabic, German, Spanish, French, Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese, right? by all means, guys, if you speak any of these languages displayed on the screen, you're more than welcome to help contribute to the Hacktoberfest, all right? So I'll look forward to seeing your PR soon, guys. Now, a quick flyover the language tools, right, just to see what the princess has been up to, right? And she's been very busy trying to get TypeScript support added in amongst the rest of the Astro project and the code base. And if you want to help augment the Astro developer experience, head on over to the language tools, guys. And if you would also like to help with the Preact plugin project, here you could help Anthony and Erica work on this amazing plugin for us. Okay, it's great. It's amazing to see that this particular plugin is a year old, and the work that's gone into it has been utterly fantastic. Next up, we're taking a wee look at the support squad, right, and the crack team of Astro specialists. Now, the support squad go about helping all y'all, right, with the many different types of questions and queries and problems that you guys face when you come to dealing with Astro. Now, Astro is a community-driven project. If it's not for the people, then we wouldn't be able to provide this fantastic support that we do give you, right? And it's a voluntary process. This is volunteer-led. If you want to join any of the particular roles, if you're new to the Astro community and if you're new to the Astro server, by all means pop into the Managed Roles channel, right? And join to the one of the many roles that you see here, okay? If you want to join the support squad, by all means, we'll love to have you. And this brings me on to the next part, which is where we discuss the heroes of the past 7 days. Those who have came into the support forum to help provide guidance and help unblock so many of the astronauts that get stuck through the week, right? Going left to right, we have Julian, who is honestly, it was amazing to see him in this week. He must have had some free time, I suppose, right? But come in and help unblock some of the people who were stuck on MDX issues, for instance. Then we had TC. Now, TC again, congratulations, TC, on behalf of everyone from Astro on landing your job, right? We wish you all the best. And can I just say, off the back of his amazing announcement, he's done a fantastic number with helping in the support squad the past week. And as always, week in, week out, there is Bryce coming in and without fault, without tea, just helping people as much as he can. And he helps so many. And it's just great to see you three being celebrated for the heroes this week. Fantastic work, guys. Truly. Great work. Now, on to the last part of This Week in Astro, where we catch up on some of the streams that you might have missed. This is one that I would highly recommend you to check out, okay? This was a keynote presentation given over at NDC.conf in Sydney, right? And what Steve Sanderson does from Microsoft is basically gives you a deep dive. It's the best history of the web I have seen in a very long time. And he starts off by basically recompiling the first original web server that Tim Berners-Lee made when he was at the CERN. And it basically describes the way the web has adapted over the past 30 years. Honestly, highly recommend you guys checking out this stream in your own free time, right? And next up, we have a new introduction to the streams for you, right? This is a fantastic stream by Josh, right? Where he basically goes about creating his own blog with Astro using Tailwind and a couple of other things as well. I really did enjoy this. Josh is quite a good content creator, actually, and I highly recommend you guys checking him and his channel out. And we're still following our good friend Luke as he goes about building his blog and his site with Astro. Here the title is a bit misleading, but he does do a lot. This stream is basically just him working on his blog, deploying to Netlify using SSR and Edge functions. It is what he's doing with this is pretty damn cool. Like, Luke is a top class developer, and I really do enjoy his streams. He just happens to have it on at the same time as Ben has his streams, which is it's kind of difficult to follow two streams at the same time. Here, Ben is demonstrating how Zod can be used to help format and validate our forms both on the client and the server, right? Truly powerful stuff, guys, right? And on that note, I'm going to have to love yous and leave yous. It's been an actual pleasure. The past week has been thoroughly enjoyable, and a big shout out to all those who took part and given presentations throughout the conferences the past week. Each and every single one of them has been utterly fantastic, and as soon as they get posted, I will be presenting them to you as well, right? I wish you all the very best for the week ahead. Peace and love. Peace and love.